So tomorrow's our oyster event, and we are gonna make a couple sauces, one sauce actually, and another condiment for our oysters. We're making a smoky mignonette, because the mignonette is kind of a classic accompaniment to oysters: red wine vinegar, shallots, black pepper, and then we are also gonna do a kimchi snow. I went to this place in Portland, Maine, Eventide Oyster Bar, had some of the best oysters in my life. Best accompaniment condiment they had was a little kimchi snow, almost like a funky, tangy, spicy granita. So we're gonna work on both of those for our oysters tomorrow with Big Tree Oyster and Blackjack Point Oysters out of Rockport, Texas. Cannot wait for this. Texas oysters. Let's go. Making kimchi snow. You pour liquid into a flat pan like this, you put it in the freezer, and every few minutes you come and you scrape it with a fork. So that's what we're gonna do. We have our house-made kimchi here. Made sure it was extra juicy. I poured a bunch of juice in there. We're gonna puree it, pour it in here, freeze it, scrape it with a fork, make it into a snow, and top some oysters with it. We've done kimchi videos before. Napa cabbage, salted and let it weep. Then we make our paste out of gochugaru, fish sauce, a little rice vinegar, dried shrimp, add some scallions, and then let it sit for like a week. Come on, goddammit. Oh, here we go. Gotta turn it on. Good. Simple as that. The idea of putting it in a big tray like this is to have a lot of surface area so it can freeze. And we're just gonna scrape it. We're gonna put it right in the freezer. Come back in about 30 minutes. The other sauce we're doing with these oysters is gonna be a smoky mignonette. Mignonette is a shallot and red wine and black pepper sauce. Essentially just gonna be pickled shallots with black pepper in red wine vinegar. I'm gonna dice up brunoise as close as I can, all these shallots. We're gonna put them in this red wine vinegar, a little bit of our 16 mesh black pepper. Then we're gonna put it on the smoker for a little while. That's it.
Hasta la vista, amigos and amigas.
Adios, Quentin.
Adios, mi amor.
Mañana. You know, we could have just put this in the Roboku, but then you're gonna miss like the nice looking cuts. I think that's part of the oysters. It's supposed to be a nice presentation. It's supposed to look really good. Everything's supposed to be, you know, intentional. And I don't think they would have looked as good. They would have been all shreddy and gross. So hand cut, knife cut, make it look nice for the people. Honestly, could be better, could be smaller. I think I'm gonna run the knife through this just a couple times to get it a little finer. Real men cry. Real men do cry. Okay, going into our red wine vinegar here. I don't have amounts on these, I'm sorry, but it's not that important. Black pepper, I'm gonna go pretty heavy on it. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna mix this up, put a little salt in there, and then we're gonna put it on the smoker. Yeah, that looks great. That's what mignonette should look like. Out to the smoker. Can we put this on the smoker somewhere?
Yeah, plenty of
this is the
room.
mignonette, anywhere. It's coldest spot.
This is the only cool spot in this room. The second door.
Second door.
How long you thinking on there?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never done this before. So I don't want the shallots to cook, so I don't want it to boil. I just want it to absorb a little bit of smoke. So I'm going to take it, I'm like 30, 45 minutes. That's it. Let's go check the kimchi. Go. Okay. Not quite frozen yet, but you can start to see the top of it, like is starting to freeze a little bit. Like you can start to see some icicles forming there. It's kind of exactly what we're looking for. I'm just getting in here and stirring it up. We just don't want it to freeze into a solid block. We want it to like freeze a little bit, then we'll stir it up, freeze a little bit, then we'll stir it up until it forms a nice little snow. All right, back in, do that probably 5 or 6 more times tonight.
How we looking?
Looks good.
You can smell it though. It's like super red wine vinegary.
Yeah. What else in this oven?
Just some shallots, red wine vinegar, and black pepper. How's it smell?
It smells really good.
Oh yeah, got a little smoky. All right.
Inside or...
Yeah, let's put this on the pastry table. We'll put it in quarts for tomorrow. So when I first moved to New York, I worked at Kraft, like the Tom Colicchio restaurant. And we had to make, I was on the Garde station, we had to do oysters. We had to make mignonette. And we had to take peppercorns, like whole peppercorns, and toast them and put them in a food mill. And then sift it like multiple times. So then you had your mignonette pepper. It's like a specific like half cracked, like quarter cracked butcher's pepper. And then like the fine powder, which we put like on the line to season stuff with. But I like the 16 mesh a little bit more. This wrong, I think there's only one eye, but it is a dry erase, so we can kind of, there we go, mignonette. In the fridge till tomorrow. Hope that's enough. I think it will be. So, a couple years ago, family and I took a trip to Portland, Maine. I had been a fan of oysters before, but that trip really kind of set off an obsession. I had the best oyster of my life like 3 different times. One at eventide, and then one was also just from a boat, like fresh from the ocean. We went on this oyster cruise, and the culture around it, the oyster farmers, the bars, just, I was so obsessed with it and I wanted to learn a lot more. So I looked online about like classes, watched every YouTube video I could, and I took this like online class about oyster farming in the Gulf Coast. And I just wanted to learn as much as I could about oysters. These are incredible animals. They're basically a natural filter. They filter water. Any place that there are oysters growing, they're cleaning the water. So then I started to do research about, I don't really know anything about Texas oysters. Do they even grow here? Is oyster farming in Texas even a thing? And it just so happened around that same time that a few oyster farms in Texas started to open, some of them being Big Tree and Blackjack Point, who brought us these oysters here today. And they're essentially pioneers. So that's super exciting because, as people know, the Gulf Coast, not the most beautiful beaches. I love the water. I love our own coastal waters here. But more oysters, more oyster farming along the Texas coast means cleaner waters, nicer beaches. Naturally, being a Texan, I think everything from Texas is better than anywhere else. So I don't know if these oysters are naturally better than the ones I had in Maine, but they're damn good. And we just love supporting local ranchers, local farmers, local foods. So now, as the finale to our seafood series, started with the catfish, made our way through Cinco de Mayo with the shrimp cocktail, then Cole did the crawfish, and now, big finale, Oyster Sunday. We're doing them raw by the dozen. We're doing them grilled by the dozen. The raw ones are gonna come with a smoky mignonette and a kimchi snow like I had at eventide. The grilled ones are gonna have bacon, parmesan, breadcrumbs, and some butter, and everybody's gonna have a great time tonight. Jackson and Meredith made an olive oil cake they've been working on for what feels like years. It's gonna be a great night, great day. I don't think they're gonna last into the night because we're starting at 3. I honestly think we'll be out and done by 5 o'clock. We'll just be shucking all day long. Zach said he's got it. Right? You're gonna shuck every single one?
Oh, every single one, all 700.
All 700. We're gonna talk to the farmers that came. We're gonna talk to Daniel, the seafood dude. He's gonna give us some pointers on what to look for on a good shuck quality. We're just gonna eat a lot of oysters. Cheers. Makes me feel strong.
So we got some kimchi snow for these oysters. Pretty much just pureed kimchi frozen. Scrape it with a fork, and then we're just gonna portion it out. We got some already going right here. Gonna do some more.
Those all the oysters?
This one bag?
Yeah.
Nope. There are 7 more bags. I'm imagining a cooler like set up here, like a bus tub or something with ice where we're just like staging we probably get like 4 or 5 dozen ahead as soon as we start.
Okay.
maybe like 2 o'clock, we'll start shucking the raw oysters.
Okay.
And then just try to stay on top of it.
Okay, cool. Are we selling them from back here?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're just gonna get tickets. We're gonna plate them up back here.
Right on.
We're gonna have the appetizer plates with ice,
guys.
and then 12 around like the clock, and then a single cup of kimchi snow and a single cup of mignonette. And I think that's it. We should be doing lemons with them too. Okay. We gotta get a bunch of lemons, but.
Are you an oyster guy, Rob?
Oh, I love oysters, especially Rocky Mountain oysters.
Yes.
And now we put them away before service.
All right, so when we were talking about this oyster event, we were like, who's gonna shuck for us? And Zach raised his hand and he said, I can shuck. He said that he was in a shucking contest.
It wasn't like an actual contest. We were in the restaurant when I was in Miami, and there were 3 of us that were like primarily shucking oysters just about every day. So at one point we were like, well, who can shuck the most oysters in like 5 minutes? We used to have to shuck about 90 a day, so we all lined up 30. Wanted to see who was the fastest.
And did you win?
I did not win. That was actually when I stabbed myself with the oyster shucker. I was trying to go too fast. I dug it right into my hand.
Yeah, there's no reason to go fast. That's why we're starting like hours early.
Yeah.
So tell me about when you learned, how you learned, and like what was your Savannah experience?
Yeah, I was in Savannah. We were living in Savannah, Georgia. I was working at this little like fine dining spot, Local 1110 out there. Great spot. We were getting Gulf oysters, and we were doing them, I think it was like Dollar Wednesdays.
Oh my God.
So we were just pounding through oysters.
You never had an oyster before?
No, you slurp it.
Yeah, you slurp it and eat it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Real good. Oh man, I love them. Thanks, Evan.
You know, most people like put it back, right? It just goes like vacuum into his mouth.
Just keep shucking.
Almost through the first bag.
Almost.
I'm gonna bring a couple of the ranchers back here, the farmers back here to shuck.
The which one?
The oyster farmers.
Oh yeah. Heard. See how real professional shucks an oyster?
Good, right?
Very happy.
Good stuff.
Welcome, welcome. Well, we're getting to shucking back there. Zach is here. If anybody wants to help, we're doing it. We're in it now. So we'll get rolling back here. Let me show you guys the kitchen. This is Zach. He's one of our sous chefs. He's going to be doing most of the shucking tonight. Give us a quick lesson. What are the things that we're looking for when we're shucking? What are the things we don't want to do? Just like a little advice, because we are a barbecue restaurant. We cook things for a long time. We don't normally eat them raw.
So I'd say number 1 is go slow.
Go slow. That's okay. That's good. That's
Start
what we've been
slow.
doing.
Yeah, start slow. You know, look at the oyster. Look for the hinge, right? Don't just start stabbing.
Yeah.
You know, the goal is to not puncture the stomach. The goal is to not rip the gills open, to not rip the mantle off. It's all about respecting the anatomy, and it's about, you know, providing a really good presentation, right? Whether you're grilling it or not.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is to just move slow. Every variety, right, is going to have a little bit different thickness of shell, different type of hinge. Every species or every oyster might also have, you know, some reverse hinges. So try to move slow. Don't assume that every single oyster is going to pop the same way, right?
Yeah.
You want to kind of,
They're all different.
yeah, get in there real nice and tender until you find it, right? The oyster should sit on the knife.
Yeah.
Once you get it right stuck, and then you stuck, then you can pop, and then crack it open a little bit, take a look, shave the adductor or the adductor. Don't just go in and start, you know. Everyone likes to saw into it, not look, right? Look at what you're doing. And once you understand it, you shuck a dozen, 2 dozen maybe, then you can start to move with a little bit more speed.
Yeah.
But don't just rush into it, right? I mean, unless you're in a real hurry, but even then, right, your patrons are gonna,
Nice.
you know, gonna know that.
Yeah.
So yeah, these look good so far.
How am I doing?
Okay. You know, these are all grilled, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I would eat
That's
them.
good.
I would eat them. You know, some of them you could see a little. You know, they look like a
When I
chocolate.
started.
But you know, the way I really judge it is looking at the adductor, and if it's got a nice, clean, kind of shave right off the shell, you can look at these. Right, that's a nice, clean cut.
Something I missed.
Right, this one here, you'll see you got a little bit of the mantle stuff. This one here, right?
Heard.
That one there. And again, it's kind of like if you're a butcher, right? Where I go as a meat professional is I go straight to the trim bin. Profit, right?
Yeah.
With oysters, it's different. You're buying them by the each, right? But again, if we treat it the same way, the trim bin, right? The oyster shells are going to tell you a story.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best way for us to look at it is, this is what you want.
Right there.
Nice and clean.
Perfect.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, great start.
Awesome. All right, we're about an hour and a half away from service, so we got to get rolling on them. I think Zach needs a little bit of help. I'm going to jump in here too. We got some of our ranchers over here.
Help. Send help.
I think yours look great, you know, if I'm being
See,
honest.
you know what? Thank you. My first few were rough for sure.
So here, see how kind of when you're looking for the hinge, a lot of times they say come in on the left side.
Okay.
So once you kind of like weasel your way in there, you'll feel it, right? And then that's when you want to pop it up. And then you want to come up and you really just want to kind of find it, shave it, right? And detach it.
Gotcha.
Nothing
Okay.
on the shell.
Beautiful.
And then when you're shucking for a raw service, right, you want to really just kind of like push the mantle back out. And you want to give it just like that perfect presentation. The last thing you want to do is come in here, scramble it, and then shave that bottom adductor off. Right, and then have it all flipped up and mangled. So again, the respect for the oyster is all about it just having its full anatomy on display.
Gotcha.
Just like any other protein if you're trying to serve it.
Absolutely. So one thing I was taught was to flip the oyster, like to flip it after
flipping
you
the oyster
detach it.
is generally to hide your flaws.
Ah, okay.
Or it's to guarantee that the oyster's been detached.
Yeah,
So
gotcha.
there are places around the world where they suggest flipping it because they want to guarantee that it's completely attached.
Detached, okay.
Or they hide the punctures to the stomach.
Gotcha.
Now again, if you were eating like a red snapper, you're filleting it, you cut that gallbladder open and it stains the meat. That's what happens when you stab an oyster. It puts out some flavor you don't want to taste.
So when did I learn to shuck an oyster? Today.
Today.
Did you?
No, I was asking him where he learned it earlier. He said Savannah, and then he was like, oh no,
Right now.
completely different education.
So my name is Daniel Wengler. I go by the name The Seafood Dude on social media. I've been in the seafood industry my whole life. Started in an Asian fish market in Houston when I was 19. Was processing live fish, everything you could imagine. It was all live. Anyway, recently became independent, started my own little like social media kind of consulting brand, The Seafood Dude, kind of where it was born. Started working with local suppliers, farmers, food lovers. Yeah. And kind of found my way into this new passion of helping promote local food, quality
That's awesome.
food, sustainability.
Amazing. And what about you guys? Where y'all from?
I'm Seth Gamble from Rockport, Texas. I help run Big Tree Oyster Company.
Seth, how long have you been farming oysters?
Started in August or July of last year was when we actually put oysters in the water, so 9, 10, 11 months, something like that.
Wow. It's a pretty new thing farming oysters in Texas, right?
Yes, sir.
Why is that?
Texas was the last state to legalize mariculture. They legalized it in 2000, and really we didn't have any number of farms until I guess 2002, 2023. So
Damn.
we've got 7 now with oysters in the water. So we're right at the beginning of the industry. This is a brand new industry for Texas.
That's awesome. You guys are like pioneers.
Yes. For better or for worse.
Yeah. What are some challenges with farming oysters in Texas? What makes Texas oysters special, I guess is the question.
I mean, I think Texas oysters have always been seen as really tasty and delicious, and now we have an opportunity to use the same methods that they've been using across the world for decades. So we're able to kind of craft really special homegrown oysters in Texas.
How many oysters do you guys have in the water right now?
We started with 200,000, and we've probably harvested, I don't know, 20 or 25,000 so far. So.
Whoa.
Wow.
And you guys buy the seeds, right?
Yes, sir.
And then you just put them in different size, like mesh kind of bags over time?
Yeah, so as they grow, like when we get them, they're, we bought one batch that ranged from 4 millimeter up to, 10 to 12 millimeter.
Yeah.
And our second batch was all, I think, 9 millimeter.
Nice.
And in Texas, we have really quick growth rates because our water's warmer.
Yeah.
So for the first couple of months, they're doubling in size every 2 weeks. And to maintain density within the bags that they grow in, like they get overstocked real quickly. So then you split them you know, when you double the number of bags to cut the densities back.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, you're doing that again.
Doing that again.
Real quickly, you've got a bunch of gear out there and a bunch of stuff to tend to.
Yeah.
That's where the work comes in.
And is it the same as in other states where you essentially just have a lease, like a water lease?
Yeah, so we lease Bay Bottom from General Land Office in the state of Texas.
AJ, how long have you been farming oysters?
About 2 months longer than 7
He's an old hat, man.
Oh yeah, he's teaching everybody.
Very new industry in Texas. So we were the 4th permitted farm in Texas. Got our permit in March of last year. Put oysters in the water in June.
Yeah.
Started harvesting in December.
What made you guys want to go into this? Like, be pioneers for this industry? Like, what did you do before, and what made you just want to farm oysters?
25 years in the marine transportation industry.
Oh wow.
But I've worked on boats since I was 8 years old. This industry, very rarely are you given an opportunity to enter a brand new industry.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a brand new industry in Texas, but an industry that's been proven successful in other parts of the country.
Very true.
It was very intriguing to me, and it allowed me to continue working on the water, which I've done my whole life.
What about you, Seth? What did you do before you were an oyster farmer?
I'm a certified hydrographer, and I worked as a hydrographic surveyor, surveying from Brownsville to Sabine Pass for 20 years. So I've worked on the water in Texas since I got out of college, and I really like working in the water. I really like as part of my job as a hydrographic surveyor, we did a whole lot of oyster and seagrass surveys. So it wasn't like all we did. I mean, we did a bunch of other stuff too. But man, as a fisherman and a hydrographic surveyor, like oyster reefs are just it's a big part of our lives. And
Yeah.
I like being around the habitat, the ecology. Amy's a biologist, a PhD biologist, so we both have an interest in the ecology and the sustainability of this way of growing food really appealed to us.
So it comes from a love of the water, a love of the outdoors.
And mariculture takes a lot of pressure off our wild reefs, which
Yeah.
are in serious decline. Growing up on the coast and watching the wild reefs just get continuously degraded and harvested from this is an alternative that I think is long overdue. So.
And how does oyster farming help the ecosystem?
Mariculture is considered restorative because one, it provides habitat values as the structure, attracts, all sorts of organisms, shrimp, crabs, fish, bigger fish.
Yep.
Like the literal structure of the farm. But then the oysters don't require any inputs. There's no food or water required to grow the crop. And they also improve water quality as they sit there and filter, the nutrients out of the water column.
Yeah.
And then again, it's taking pressure off wild reefs, so there's many benefits.
Incredible.
So Evan, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What is this kind of grilled oyster recipe today?
So we are, after we get all the yellows shucked, we're gonna top them with a little bit of bacon, Parmesan, breadcrumbs. Then we're gonna have a little squirt bottle of some melted butter and bacon fat. We're gonna just place them all on the grill, squirt a little fat on there. One and done, baby. I can't thank all of you guys enough for coming out here. We've been trying to do fun and different stuff with barbecue for a long time, and our main focus is locally raised proteins. That is what we do. So we appreciate everything that you guys do on the farming side, and we appreciate all the extra knowledge, Daniel, from you on your side as well. I suck at this. I just got one that's like got that little hook on the bottom. Clay, have you got one yet?
Get in there.
Dude, Robbie was the best. He's just like, that's so ridiculous.
So you make it like a point to really look in there. Yeah? Okay.
We've done a few fun little oyster events or dishes in the past. We did this one for Texas Monthly Barbecue Festival a few years ago, where we shucked a bunch and then we dumped them into a hotel pan and like lightly smoked them just till they kind of plumped up and curled, and then made like a little, not really a ceviche, but just like a flavorful juice, and then kind of put them up from there. Little smoked oysters with jardiniere on it. It was super good.
These are beautiful oysters, y'all.
They're incredible.
I'm blown away. How consistent, how clean, plump, and
You taste test one yet?
Oh yeah, when Evan wasn't looking.
You're not a good shucker if you don't taste one of them.
You gotta taste them.
Sounds like I was just getting permission.
I'll take one too.
How's it going, Meredith? Would you like an oyster?
Blackjack.
These are Blackjack points. Meredith and Jackson made a really good Texas olive oil sheet cake. It's got some blood orange and some fennel cream. It's gonna be super good.
So we have fennel diplomat cream, we have blood orange curd and a citrus curd, we have segmented blood orange and candied fennel slices, we have a pistachio brittle and edible orchids.
And the olive oil cake?
Olive oil cake, of course, the pistachio olive oil cake, that's the best part.
We're almost done with the grilled. So after this, I'm gonna start staging the grilled ones with bacon, parm, and breadcrumbs, which we need to get some breadcrumbs going. This is pork jowl bacon. So we take all the cheeks and jowls from our pigs, beautiful pigs, peaceful pigs from Peaceful Pork in South Texas, and cure them and smoke them and make bacon out of them. And usually we just make our bacon onion dip or put them on the Outlaw Jack burger, but this time it's all about the oysters. Bacon, Parmesan, breadcrumb, butter.
Get some breadcrumbs going.
Yeah. You want to do the breadcrumbs?
Yeah, I got you.
Thank you. Zach, just go get some croutons and buzz them up.
Bird. That's easier.
Will you bring me a shovel full of coals for this grill? Thank you guys very much for your help in here. Y'all are kings and killers. As soon as we got like one of the trays, I'm gonna make a dozen for us to taste. But we are running up against time. It's almost 3 o'clock. We haven't shucked a single raw oyster, so we gotta get started on those too.
Are we grilling these to order? Is that the plan?
That is the plan. I'm planning on, how close are you guys to finishing staging all of them?
This is the last tray.
Then I'm gonna have you jump on shucking.
Heard.
So he's probably just gonna shuck into a pan like this, and then you're gonna scoop the ice onto a big appetizer platter, just like a little layer, and then put them all on there like a clock, 12 around. There's a mignonette sauce and the black ramekin that goes on there, and the kimchi snow in the freezer in the black ramekin that goes on there, along with a little wedge of lemon. Then you sell it to the window.
Got it.
Okay, showtime, boys. Raw oysters, fire the first one. Beautiful, that's good. I'm gonna go in the middle like that, and then the other one right there, and then we'll do like a clock. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Beautiful. Look at these guys. Hey! What are we, a barbecue restaurant or something?
Just keep shucking, just keep shucking, just keep shucking.
Okay, we're really just looking for like the stuff to melt like that. That's pretty much done right there. See how that guy's bubbling? This one's bubbling. A little bit of browning on top, that's nice too. Oh God. It's okay. It's okay. Is this one of those times where we should have tested this out? Who's to say? It's working out. It's working out. Oh my God. That was beautiful. That's it, grilled oysters from the Gulf, Blackjack Point, bacon, Parmesan, breadcrumb, butter. They smell great. Okay, here's our first grilled dozen. I want some feedback from you guys. Let us know how they are. We got little forks too. I'm gonna set it on the table over here. Get in there, guys. This is almost like a dream come true for me to be able to serve like grilled oysters at a barbecue restaurant. I love it.
These are great, man. Okay, I see mine.
Yeah, that one's got a bunch of bacon on it. Is that good? Yes.
Very rich.
This is awesome. They good?
Oh wow.
I want to jump in on one of these.
Those are delicious, man.
Yep.
Right on, right off.
So what I love, so you render that pork down a lot before you put it on.
Oh yeah.
That makes all the difference, man. Because it's got
Yeah,
the
it's
crunch to
crispy.
it. Super. Yeah,
And then we did
super crispy.
50-50 butter and bacon, and I squirted that on there, and then put them on the grill. Flames come up. So good.
That's incredible.
Thank you guys so much. I cannot thank all of you enough for being here. This is awesome.
Well, thanks for doing that.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. First of many. Let's do it again and do it bigger.